How did Timma manage to convince you to do a muscle review? Didn't know you'd be interested in that. She said, do you want to do muscle review? And I said, yeah. And then I did muscle review. Simple as. I thought it would be fun. Or wholesome way. That's what I thought about it. It's a way to encourage people to, like, I guess better themselves, yeah? People like showing off their hard work. And I feel like you don't really get the chance to do it much. The way, like, social media and everything works. That, like, you can't really celebrate your accomplishments in most cases. It's seen as, like, bragging or being full of yourself or whatnot, right? You can only really post when things are not good or down, kind of. I feel like people don't have spaces to, like, celebrate or show off things that they've done they're proud of, yeah? Even when you, like, make stuff, it's kind of, like, not necessarily post and be like, look what I made, but it's, like, algorithms be getting on your head. Doing posting, get some clicks. Well, yeah, but also it's, like, you can't post anything, like, positive or happy about yourself without people being obnoxious about it, right? Like, if you think about people just, like, posting their W's online, and then the fucking, like, angry Care Bears come to the comments to, like, shit on it somehow. Scared, upset, and miserable, crazy people, like, tear you down. Yeah, it's, like, one thing to be like, okay, we'll just ignore it, but it's, like, when it's just, like, every time people do stuff, there's always someone that's gotta be like, well, actually, it's just kind of like, eh. If you win, it makes me insecure. Yeah. So I think it's good if there's a space. Obviously, like being self-centered isn't good, but I think it's also good to have spaces where you can be positive about those things. Too many make poop, but think they produce gold, though? I mean, if someone is, like... I mean, if you, like, draw something and it's ugly and you post it, if you're not, like, harassing people with it or something, it's, like... I don't know. I don't see the point in, like, shitting on that or something, right? Like, even if it's not, like, the most beautiful, amazing, perfect thing, there's, like, learning in the process. Right? I've talked about this before. I just hate that there's, like, no spaces for people to, like, learn, especially for young people, to learn or grow online. There's a line. I don't think there's a line. I think you just don't do it at all. There's really no reason to put energy into shitting on someone learning a skill. I hate that, like when I was, like, growing up and drawing and stuff, there was spaces where I was surrounded by... I think the main thing is, I've talked about this before, is that it wasn't social media. It was, like, websites specifically for art, so you're surrounded by other people that are, like, learning and just excited about it, whereas now it's like things need to be posted perfectly because of how it's, like, set, how the algorithm works, how people will, like, see and interact with your posts. It's just, like, very hostile, and especially because, like, cringe culture became a thing a while ago and it just never went away, so no one wants to share their learning process because it's seen as cringe to, like, not be perfect at something. And this is something, like, I even struggle with, like, when I don't, like, perform well in games and stuff, I get so, like, shamed and embarrassed. Even art and Tumblr art YouTubers for the art thing, they make content being toxic judges. It's partially that. There was a lot of, I don't think it was specifically any one group's fault. I think it was just that probably the more normification of the internet. I like saying the term normie, you know what I mean when I say that. It's just, like, it's a very, like, kind of, quote, normal or mainstream opinion that, like, if you enjoy something too much or you have, like, a hobby that isn't, like, productive, then it's, like, cringe and you're wasting your time. So when the internet kind of more shifted towards that mindset as more, like, people got online, it became more mainstream to be online, it was very much like that mindset permeated. So there was things like YouTubers who make videos making fun of, like, learning artists and kids. There was whole, like I remember there's whole Tumblr blogs that were like, oh, Pokemon cringe art, and then be like something that obviously someone that was, like, 10 years old drew, and they're posting it to, like, you know, make fun of it and stuff. And that's something that's still, like, you know, today, like, I've seen how people comment on, like, I don't know why anyone would post art on TikTok, because, like, the way people comment and stuff on there is just, like, disgusting. But I've been on that since 2004. It was already that way. It really wasn't. I've been here before you, and it really wasn't. Not in art communities, not things like that. Spaces were their own spaces. There were, like, obviously spaces that were toxic and stuff, but it's weird because I feel like it was more, the internet was more anonymous, but it was also in that people weren't, like, open about who they were in real life, but it was less anonymous in that communities were more, like, close-knit and everybody kind of knew each other, right? Like, if you're on a forum, even if it was, like, a decent-sized forum, everyone, like, yeah, because it was decentralized, you know, there was just small communities, and so people would know each other. I think the worst thing is all the age groups coming together in one space. I think that's, like, one of the worst things about it. It sucks. Definitely. People are much more self-conscious, especially young people, are much more extremely self-conscious about, like, how they present themselves, and that, like, learning process or being like in the middle of stuff is not as big of a thing. Like, I don't know how to explain it without like going and finding examples, but like the difference in what people would post as far as like sketches, works in progress, just like the difference in what artists would be like willing to post then versus nowadays is completely different. Like, you would have people that were drawing stuff on notebook paper and they would take a picture with like their like digital camera and post it. You would not see that nowadays anymore. People are more cynical and self-conscious. Yeah, and I think it's because of like that like shaming that happens. I used to do that. Yeah, I did too. No, I was very lucky. I had a scanner, but they came out looking like photographs, honestly. It was pretty shit. Now, if you post something cringe, it can really ruin your life because people will make it their life's goal to ruin you if they hate what you made. Yeah, sadly. It's like that, especially like with younger people, because people are so insane about like fictional characters and fictional relationships and stuff. That's the main thing, is you don't see... I mean, part of it is that Flash died, but people are doing like MS Paint, Windows Movie Maker stuff. You don't see like animations or In a Nutshell or videos like that anymore because everything has to be so like perfectly polished on YouTube. I feel like you don't see like lower quality content, like just rambles and things like that, because people's willingness of what they want to watch is like higher than it was. And I think it's partially because of that. Yeah, and it takes time. Well, it took today, you can do that infinitely faster and easier than you ever could back in the day. It is easier than ever to make videos like that because of the amount of like free video editing software, free drawing software, the tools that like make it easier, and yet you don't see it anymore. It is what it is.